But he was saying if you want to hide something from a black person, didn't put it in a book. Imagine they're saying we everything you want to know is in a book. Bro. It's somewhere in a book. It's not anything you want to know. It's somewhere. It's written down somewhere in a book. And the best way to hide something from black people is just put it in a book because they won't buy it, and if they do, they won't read it.
Shit.
Njani?
Izokwazi ukuzwa kade yaqina. Siyaqala-ke manje. Ziyasha already.
Yazi ukuthi imali before uzoqala. I-disclaimer. Firstly, angena nomuntu vele uthanda maphambi kwekamera siqala lapho ke nje. So already kuna level yoku-discuss. But ke
no, bro. Ngizozama ukukhuluma nasa.
Okay.
Sure. But it's gonna be a normal conversation.
All right.
Sure. So there's ngiyaqala-ke manje. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Student podcast. Namhlanje siphethe insizwa emkantshubovu. Say WANDILE MSOMI uyaphila bhuti.
Ngiyaphila.
Hayi mfethu.
Right.
Hayi ngimnandi.
Let's go.
Sicela ukwamukela la ekhaya mfethu sithi welcome. Do you feel welcome to la ekhaya mfethu?
Yes. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
I saw my guests that you've had. And ukuba part of leyo list yabantu. Yeah, I'm very excited.
It gives you that
Yeah. Yazizwa na ukuthi
a sense of responsibility to say they are shoes to fill too.
Yeah. Because I mean, you never really think of yourself ukuthi okay, kusho ukuthi, you know. Ngingabalwa nalabantu yabo. So I'm happy to be.
No, bro, siyabonga kakhulu and siyakwamukela la ekhaya. Mfethu lento sinokuyiqala kalula yabo. It's like an icebreaker. Lo sisi mangihlangana naye every day. I say Mr. Mbatha, here's a penny. Give me a random thought nje mhlambe. Mhlambe there are those words owaziyo at the back of your head. Mhlambe nokwasebenzisa when times are tough or whenever. Mhlambe mongahlangana naye wena ungathini kuwe.
Random.
Yeah, random.
There's this thing I was thinking about just a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Because I always try to assess what's okay, you know. There's this idea ukuthi this is what I think. Ukuthi kufanele ube obsessed and just obsess over something. Or if you're obsessed kwinto, you know, just obsess over something. Totally also obsess over you, and I mean I can't even. Ngiyahluleka imagine umuntu ongenanje they obsess over nothing about compassionate ngalotho, even if that umuntu passionate ngento ethile but they don't obsess over yona, you know, then it doesn't work out. So that would be my random thought, because I was thinking about it just a couple of days ago. Good say actually into engizizile mina is to be obsessed ngalento engenzayo.
What are you really obsessed about? In one word or two words?
One word: geopolitics.
Geopolitics.
I'm obsessed about geopolitics. Yeah.
No, bro, we're gonna delve into it and then give people a perspective as to what is geopolitics and what it's all about. No, and I'm sure it has driven a lot of innovators, a lot of Albert Einstein. They had that unreasonable obsession about the physics, and they conquered it.
Yeah.
No, bro, I totally feel you. You're gonna take it back, try to find where you're from, where is home, and how do you find yourself mhlambe eGqeberha?
So I'm from Durban. Ngikhulele nje eThekwini. Khulele eThekwini, you know, I had a happy childhood. I don't have
one.
I had a happy childhood. I don't
Yeah.
want to lie, Shem. I was actually speaking to a friend a couple of years ago. I don't have, you know, I was trying to get money to go overseas. It's money king I am here. I don't have a sad story. I don't have a sad story. Angikwazi ukudabukisa and anginayo into engathi, you know, I had a happy childhood nje, you know, grew up baba, uma, my brother, sister, and a dog.
And a dog.
And a dog. Yeah, well, so I had a happy upbringing. Laipi came to study NMU, so I was here for a couple of years, and then left for Pretoria. Was there for a year, then Johannesburg. So I've been around the block.
Yeah, bro. Which is cool, bitch.
Been around the
Tell me,
block.
what's the importance of getting out of your birthplace or traveling around?
Ukona, you know, even if you've never been to school, ukona nje bethu ulwazi that oyithola just from traveling. Just knowledge, I call it just from traveling. Uyakwazi ufunda wazi lutho, but you know inezinto ongeke uzoyifunde if uhleli eThekwini or indawo yabo. So you travel to Johannesburg, yabo, say kunabantu benza kanje yabo. I mean, I've also been overseas, and uyabuya uze ngapha uthi hazi ngeke abantu abaphila ngawo lapha. Uyabona usuletha lo ma stories la. Usuyithola futhi mhlawumbe nawe ushintsha indlela owenza ngayo izinto because ubone
and sometimes you even learn how to appreciate certain things. Mhlawumbe let's say ubuko because ngiyakhumbula Ethiopia they used to show it ngendlela ebuhlungu yabo.
Yeah.
Mhlawumbe masuke waya usuyabuya usu appreciate mhlawumbe a simple thing as a toilet. Shit.
Yeah. That was the exact experience I got after Ghana. I was like, I see right like South Africa. So you guys right cool. Because I mean we complain a lot, land, until you leave. And you compare with Western countries and what, like
just here in Africa.
Just humble, like Africa was born to privileged. So you appreciate cool, even just locally. Won't take Eastern Cape kunje, you know, or Goli kunje, wherever it is, you know. Yeah. So travel, guess is I don't get it.
No, guess what I bit. Mhlambe going back to okay, because now you have this crazy obsession over geopolitics. Mhlambe in your come up years, come up can be even childhood. Mhlambe primary. Which elements showed ukuthi say wena ngathi ulo muntu kanje?
Yeah, I've always been kanje mina. I think I was born with this thing. I don't know how. I can't explain it.
No, bro.
I can't explain it.
Define geopolitics. Then mhlambe take it to a primary level.
Well, let me tell you. And I'll tell you why I feel like I was born with this. I've always been interested in politics, before even like global and whatever, just politics. I think the first time, well, let me tell you this story. So my first like political act ever, I must have been 6.
6 years.
Yeah, I must have been 6, 7. So what happened was, I asked to sis, and I was like, okay, like, we're hungry. But too busy, she must have been cooking, but she couldn't do it at the time. But more ingane futhi uyunderstand and ukuthi akusaphekwa yabo ufuna leso sikhathi yabo. Don't relax kancane. Ay mina ngathi ngeke leta angizwa kahle uyabona. So what I did was I have a brother. My brother is a year older than me, so kufanele siyalingana yabo. And then a cousin besihlala ndawonye yabo. She's a year younger than me, so yabo siyalingana, so bathatha. And then khona nje ingane encane yabo. Yeah, and then khona cousin wami omncane umdala manje, you know. So ngavele ngabahlanganisa bonke ngathi yazi na shaya isiteleka ne straight because I ngasibona ku TV yabo. We got a couple of sticks ngabanikeza sashaya itoyi endlini, and we went around the house nje singespuna lokudla yabo. So and ifunwa yimina, but I was able to lobby my siblings would say asilwele lento yabona. Sizoyithola. Yabo. And I think that was like the first act that I remember. Yabo. But I've always been interested. I mean, I even remember Abo Zuma when he was going to court. I was very young at the time, but I wasn't sure what was going on, but I knew I was interested. Yeah, I would say what's going on with this guy. Yeah, well, so that's with South Africa. Yeah, well, what goes on is those Zuma Bebe and Cantolo Mbeki was still president at the time, and then my interest with international politics was when Obama was elected president. I was still young back then.
Yeah.
I mean, Obama was elected when 2008. I was 10.
Yeah, I think I was around grade 8 or something like that.
Yeah, so I was young.
So Bulago Gaddafi, you are into that?
Yeah. Gaddafi Bulago 2011.
Yeah, 2010, 2011.
11 ngangiseng ngiphakathi awu ngabe bese ngiveteran.
This guy.
So Gaddafi, yeah.
I'm thinking, which part of Durban are you from?
Tegwini, Pinetown.
Is there any political history lapa that might have sharpened you or lured you towards politics, or
like I said,
there's a family member or whatever?
But yeah, actually, if in this book here, which I know we're going to talk about, so here. I dedicated to my aunt, who, well, there's a little typo there, but we're going to fix it. Yes. So, well, aunt in English, because English is a very inferior language. But ngezulu umamkhulu actually. So uma. Yeah. But no. Yes. Yeah. So obviously English we have to take it fails to capture a relationship onayo nomuntu yabona. So yeah, she was obviously she died during apartheid, but she was very active, member UDF, and then she was killed during that struggle. So but then ngaphandle kwakhe there's no one else. But my family participated in the struggle. But then obviously after 94 abantu babuyela benza into zabo. Yeah.
So mfethu, don't you find resistance from family? Because phela mhlawumbe your family or your elder family members will be like, hey yo bro, thina siphuma koNkatha versus ANC struggles, we know Celemba, we know Kandampondo and all of lezi zinto lezi. Didn't they be like, hey yo mntana suka kuleyo nto le? That's a dangerous place to be in.
A little bit of that. I think Ugogo, for example, my grandmother was like, it's like, just stay away from just party politics. Just be interested, but from a distance.
Go analyze politics and
just go analyze. Even I can't analyze because I did some work and analyze, for like radio stations and newspapers and so on. So yeah, she was bengafuna ukuthi ngigxeke kakhulu. Yabo thengeke phela bazobuyabona nje songaze nje bakubulale noma kwenzakale ukuthi ugxeka nawe. Ngithi bengingagxeki athi phela lana kufanele ngianalyze, ngibe honest uyabona. So there was that, but I'm able to deal with those things. It wasn't into nje. It's not something.
So another man's fear might be what the hell to you, basically.
Yeah. It was for me. It was just into serious njengobusho. Fear yakhe ngempela, but kumina
it was nothing. Yeah, bro. Fethu, growing up in KZN, we know political shootings, political killings, none. But Fethu, when I see this sense of Yebushiroti obsession, but you like, I'm not scared. I don't think about it like that. What would you attribute that to?
Well, sometimes it is a little bit of ungazi vele angithangazi mina. So mina ngokwazi kwami ngiyithanda lento, let me get involved. Unolwazi olunye yabo with the experience and so on. So obviously meeting net danger la uqinisile yabo, but bengayiboni ngaso sikhathi. But anyway, mina ngokubuka kwami, just let me be. yeah, uzoba khona just to make sure ukuthi izinto sekahle, but just let me, because kuyafana manje, I'm not into party politics, kuyafana. So you know, so I mean it worked out kahle ekugcineni. You know.
Bro, I feel you. So in fact, you arrived here at PE. What did you study? And
did political science.
Yeah.
I did political science lana. Yeah, that's what I did. Emva logo I went to Ngenzi law. But
bro, political science, like that's politics. Mhlambe high school, what subjects relate?
Hey, you know, my high school was like one of those unnecessary points.
So what, you just skipped high school in a sense?
High school was like a prison. High school was like a prison because mentally, I don't know, maybe I'm being a bit arrogant, but I think
no, bro. Like, there are those people. Like,
yeah, I think I was a little ahead. Ahead. I wasn't. I felt like even now, I just look back type of it. I don't know if corner like grade 10, 11, and 12. I'm not sure if corner really thing I'm bela lapha ngingathi nje hey ngafunda lapha namanje nje isangisiza. So I don't know, it was like a prison for me.
But okay. What are the political elements of high school that you
That's the
embraced?
Thing. This high school was just a ball of misery in that regard. I just couldn't be myself.
Contest for a prefect position. Or
I mean, the thing. Yeah, I was elected. Obviously, I'm being a political person. So.
No, but it's a matter of understanding. Okay, umuntu. These are the certain traits that you might find from a person who eventually becomes a
yeah. No, that's true. That's true. I was elected. They used to call them RCLs.
Class reps.
Yeah, I'm a class rep. I was elected there, served 2 terms.
Damn.
I was elected twice, and then I wanted to go the third time. And then I'm still bitter about that. But it felt like a prison because I didn't think it catered for my interests and so on. I'm not a science person. I'm not a maths person. Too general, humanities.
It's the general route. Commercial history.
Yeah, I went that route. Yeah, because I mean, for example, there were 3 streams.
Yeah,
there was a science, science, maths, and then there was commerce, and then there was everyone else. I was with the everyone else.
Because they have both.
Other than English, for example, my subject I find English. History. They didn't offer history, so I did geography.
Alone. Because geography usually goes with history.
Okay, what I've been exposed to was that you had to choose between even Nakona general
instead of history.
Into geography, you had to choose between. But thinking of you had to choose after Tina. We fought for that. But then zanga benefits abalandelayo. Yeah, so they had to choose between history and geography. So I did geography. I did life science. Parts of law generally, I call science.
But how come you didn't choose history? Because I feel like history.
Being gecko.
Being gecko.
Yeah, it wasn't an option to choose.
Oh, it wasn't even an option.
So, I've read a textbook of history without
outside school.
Yeah, outside because I was interested. Ngafundeli test. Washuzumathi and afundela examination. Wayifundela knowledge. So when it went to Stefani history, ngifundela knowledge. Not a test, no assignment. Those
are the elements in Kulmang. Let's underline them because we want to find the person you are or what makes you who you are. You going over and beyond a certain curriculum means we take say, bro.
Yeah,
I'm in for this, and it's not for the money and it's not for the marks. This time it's
it was
just
passion.
Feeling,
It was passion, very very early on. Passion very early on.
Yeah, Faith, you are like the second political guest. The other one was more affiliated.
Okay.
So when I think you bring that central objective view.
Yeah.
Mhlambe, what's your take currently on the political space South Africa? And given that it's like 2024.
Well, firstly, ilokuzane with mina why angiko. Here's the thing, ngiyibona. Firstly, ayikho organization that engivumelana 100%, but anyway vele akekho umuntu ovumelana naye.
Fana nomuntu.
Huh?
basically.
Yeah.
You cannot agree with the person 100%.
Yeah. You know, so that's with me. And then sometimes you struggle to say manje yabo. Uzomisa kanjani manje ungavumelani into ethile kufanele ungithi we collective manje uhambe na. So that's a difficult thing to do for me now. So yeah, but in terms of 2024 is coming. I think we do have a good crop of into ishiwe media ukuthi manje sesenkingeni as if ayikho into outside the ANC.
Yeah.
Iningi indlela esikasolva ngazi inkinga zethu. We have a good crop of political parties, the smaller parties, medium, you know. ANC as well. Inkinga ANC mina. ANC has to be dropped below 50%.
Has to be.
Yeah, it has to. Abangaphathi bodwa. Nansi inkinga,
Okay.
you know. It's not to completely remove, but ANC can be managed and can be pulled towards the left. Yeah, well, pulled or pushed, whatever. It depends what you want to go. But it can. Yeah.
No,
So yeah, they can be pushed towards the left. The ANC, for example, look at this. Imagine an ANC EFF coalition. Then an ANC angezi big center as it is manje. Yeah, well, they're probably gonna have. You're going to have a resolution on the Reserve Bank. I mean, by a resolution on the Reserve Bank, but we implement. Kinga zomhlaba. Bayithatha resolution yomhlaba. Implementation ayikho.
And so is academics. And
so yeah, with fees. Bayikhuluma leyo nto, but implementation ayikho. So now, more bayithatha lo bantu bafaka coalition with the EFF. EFF uzobaforce from inside. So that's how I look at it going into next year. Let's drop them below 50%. Whoever you vote for, as long as you vote black and you vote left, vote black and left.
Let's decode lezinto zethu. There's this common comparisons got left and no right. To a layman, what's left and what's right?
Right is bad, left is good. That's but
good for who?
Yeah,
and bad for who?
Yeah, that's a good question. So in right, you'd find more of your free market capitalist views.
That's right.
You find that on the right. That's your conservatives. You know,
diplomatic.
Not necessarily. I'm talking more of just social views and economic views. About the Republican Party, US, for example, that's on the right. They're conservative. They believe in capitalism, free markets. They believe in a small government. But then on the left, it's a little bit different. On the left, it's more socialists. The further left you go, the more radical socialists.
And the more extreme.
And the more extreme. Same with the right, both.
Yeah.
On
so
both sides.
It can be extreme capitalistic and extreme social.
You can't extreme social. Then you are going towards communism. Yeah. We remember, socialism is a bridge between capitalism and communism. So socialism is not the end of the left. Communism.
I thought communism was like the compromise.
No. No.
So
communism is
the extreme socialism.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes. Communism is the opposite of capitalism. Socialism is the one that's the bridge between the two. Yeah, well, so on the left you'll find the socialists, you'll find the Marxists, you'll find the communists, and then on the right you'll find free marketeers, capitalists, you know, people who, like the Republican Party, man, in the US. You find those on the right. Hitler was a far right fascist, but then he also called himself socialist, but he wasn't really. So that's where you find, you know, the fascists kakon. Usually you find those on the right. Who Verwoerd were all on the right. These apartheid guys, they're all on the right. And then ANC obviously at the time was on the left. But over his cut, as they were in government, they're moving more towards, so they're more in the center now. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying FF is obviously on the extreme left. So that's why I'm saying ANC is in the center. Ne? It's between the right and the left. So what I'm saying is EFF will be able to pull these guys left. More left.
Then who's pulling them right? About Action SA.
Well, if they're gonna coalition Action SA, then they're gonna be pulled to the right. The DA center right. You know, Freedom Front Plus is west. That's as far right as you can go in this country. Yeah, well.
For real.
Yeah, I mean, if Freedom Front Plus isn't one of their members in parliament is the grandson of Verwoerd.
Grandson, ne?
Yeah. So they're on the right. It's on the right, and then DA is center right. So that's how this right-left thing works. It can get very complicated. Like Charawam used to say, it's not a line. And it's my line to see why is a line.
There's something straightforward.
Yeah, now the way Ewe Buangai is more of a circle. Yeah, well, Uzi, the more left you go, you'll end up on the right. Because then he's looking at it more as a circle. But because again, these things are extremes from both.
Yeah.
So if you go extreme left, then you by fascist or Hitler. But on the left, you go extreme right, you go by fascist na corner. That's when we na corner. So you don't want extreme. You don't want extreme left, you don't want extreme right. So
we need that balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Politics is so interesting. But wait, I always feel like these guys don't control themselves. And number two, there's
what do you mean?
I want to know Hitler was very fascist.
Fascist, yeah.
Ne?
Yeah.
But manje over time who's determining or dictating over
money.
So
money. Let me tell you something. Hitler he killed Jews, right?
Yeah.
But then there was a Jew. I think his name was Warburg. Warburg. There's a Jew. He was able to travel up and down Europe in the height of the Second World War. Even before the Second World War, when Jews were being put in ovens, he was able to travel. Why? Because he was rich.
He had the money.
He had the money. So he controlled, he controlled much of the politics in the region at the time. So money,
So which is almost the same thing as Mangati Manje. Malema might sound very far left, but because there is some money that might be coming from some far right.
But then that's a question you should ask.
It can actually compromise him.
You should, if you see him.
I don't have the balls.
You should ask him. Or ask any member.
Yeah.
Who's funding you? That's a question you should ask any political. You cannot vote for a political party without knowing who's funding. Because he who feeds you controls you.
Yeah.
So why do you listen to your parents when you're young? They feed you.
Really?
Unless they also give you a hiding. So that's another thing. But part of it, these people feed you. Now, I was watching a program. I told Monia, I forgot the name of it. But what Domzali, angeke uzudle namhlanje until until you do A, B, and C. Yabo. So isisu phela yabo. Uzobuya take So uyabuya take xolisa. So he who feeds you controls you. Yabo. So you can't vote for a political party without asking, would say, who's funding you? Who's this person? And why are they funding you? I mean,
what's their interest in you?
What's their interest? I mean, even if you're a millionaire,
Yeah.
angeke nje ukunikeza EFF imali. Kuzoba ne now
Now
we have to
return of investment.
Cyril, i-campaign yakhe to be president, we learned to go to he spent about $1 billion.
Yeah, bro. On the campaign.
He'll never make $1 billion rands as president in terms of his salary. You'll never make that money. Why spend imali more than what you'll even earn?
Make from that position.
Exactly.
You alone.
I mean, what does he earn? He earns like 2.6 million a year, I think.
And that's not even close to a bill.
Take 2.6 to multiply by 10. Say he's going to be president for 10 years, maybe. Probably 11, because one in 2018. So, what? Times that by 10. I figure, but he spent $1 billion. At here, and I know he didn't spend $1 billion, he spent 300 million. But still, he's not going to even make that money as president. So
as a business savvy person, that wouldn't make business sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Why would you put 300?
But then it does make sense. You know, yes, it makes sense. For what we can see, it doesn't make sense. But then there's things, a lot of things we don't see. There are a lot of deals. He's also, now we learned he's doing business while being president.
He's still doing business. He didn't let go of business.
Yeah, I mean, there was a panel, actually, that's in daughter. You are doing business while president, that's illegal. So there's a prima facie case against you that you have to answer in a court of law. How are you doing business while being president? Yeah, well, so, well, he did it again.
But how, there was no grand resignation from all his businesses. Because Babasmas being a billionaire through all of these businesses and investments.
Yeah.
But there should have been a day whereby.
Yeah, it's into.
Actually, as dead because.
Well, when I heard that because you're not supposed to. It's illegal. It's not even you go take up. It's immoral or whatever. It's illegal. You cannot run a business while being president at the same time. It's illegal. It's illegal. But kuyakubophisa kufanele kukubophise ngokomthetho but lezi izinto engabantu sizomlandela mase esempesheni nangithi manje there's a precedent that has been set manje ukuthi no president useyalandelwa noma esempesheni no azayida sejele so yeah, I think it's just hazomlandela so yeah just going back on the money there's certainly money behind politicians. You need to ask Gogoti, who is it and why they're funding. UDA is funded by Inganega, I think Oppenheimer or Rupert, one of the two. I confused Oppenheimer and Rupert. But
I'm a capital.
But Ingane between the two. Wabanigas are 15 million UDA. Uba news 15 million. It's Kalin. Yeah, well, so you need to ask why niggas in. What were the conversations?
So in fact, as a normal person, what really should be my focus, or what do I look into? Because clearly, these guys are playing a bigger game than we might have been thinking. But as a normal person, as a normal person, just look at these things before you make your own decision. Because these things only relate to you and they are made for you. Whereas over and above that, it's just beyond you.
Firstly, if you want a perfect president, then you must vote for Jesus Christ.
He wasn't fair to everyone.
You know, so
unfortunate.
Yeah. So even now, will face criticism. This one, I'm a vote of no confidence. But I think. One, there's no perfect politician. I think many law just to make it out there. I come to perfect.
Yeah.
If it's just people. So but more what to look out for. Look out for money. Money is the biggest one. Who's funding them? But also just vote your interest. Abantu don't vote my interest out. You know, sometimes you can't be well as black people value. We have some kind of history with either ANC, IFP, That's like because of
Yeah.
historically. But then when it shift
Yeah.
over time, abanye baya with DA because yabo
The
abanye
crowd
baya.
is, the world is opening up more.
Yeah. So but sonke we have that history nyana because there was the main party yabo after 94. So then siba an attachment. Yabo. But then uthola ukuthi hayi yazi lama interest are not being.
They are not catered for.
If ufuna umhlaba, why uzovotela umashaba? Doesn't make sense. You are voting against ama interests akho. Yabo, if ufuna ubona ukuthi no man, ama bank kumele regulate more. Ngoba phela this is qali podcast la. We must be able ukuthi siye bank sithi we have this business idea or whatever business idea it is, yabo. We have this business idea izothi bank collateral chief yabo.
Yabo. Student debt.
Yeah, but then you want a situation whereby unamabhank iyaregulatiwe uhulumeni mhlawumbe uzothi or even if iyaregulate ama-bank but also state bank ozowazi state bank ukuthi chief I have this business idea I'm young I'm 25 anginalutho eyokubambisa ngicela ungifande yabo I really believe kule nto engenza. So you want a situation where you have a state bank that would do that. You want a situation whereby ama-bank are regulated ukuthi kufanele bafande small businesses mhlawumbe angaka uyabo without collateral. So if izinto ufuna isite kanjalo then you must find the party that speaks unto those things yabo. And then maybe you might opt for EFF. There's also parties like ATM. That's a party leader who wrote you forward for the book.
Really?
It's an incredible, guy.
He was on a podcast, I think last week.
What did you think of him?
Yeah, he's solution driven because I think he's kind of opposite to what politics is. That's why I'm more aligned to entrepreneurship because it provides the solution. Let's provide a solution and monetize off it. He's speaking that.
He's not a loud hailer. He's not a loud hailer.
He's very reserved.
He's reserved, solution driven, and he's speaking really to a yearning that is deep and real in this country. And umuntu engiresonate kakhulu naye. So he's also umuntu ongathi umbheka and look at the things he represents and vote your interest. If I'm an interest akho lie in seeing a young person who's who's going to run or is running on a clean government, clean governance, people-driven government. If that's important to you, then you go that direction. But you vote your interest.
Basically.
Vote your interest. But if ufuna capitalism and uthanda ngendlela izinto ngendlela eziyona manje or you want more free markets, monopoly and all those kind of things, then you're going to vote Action SA and DA, and if that's where your interests are, then ungahamba lo direction.
Yeah. Bro, ngiyakuzo. And sometimes these things are conflicting because there are points ngapha there are selfish points in these people's manifestos.
Right.
Sometimes you see the land issue is too big for my personal issue.
Right.
Bese lo muntu okhuluma nge-private ownership uthi hey baba your yard will still be your yard. Then you're like, hey, actually, I still want my yard. I think that's where some people are actually conflicted.
Yeah.
But thank you for the insights. And shout out to Usezungola for actually giving you, bro, a forward.
He believes in just young people.
What does that do to a young man? Like such a gesture, or even having an encounter, or something tangible of.
You are able now to pay it forward. It's okay. Now I also want to do it for someone else because it didn't have to. It didn't have to.
There's no obligation.
No, there's no obligation. Bese usho in peace. And vele ngokweqiniso. Bese ukhuluma ngokweqiniso ubhizi yabo. Exactly yabo, and to be able to kubeka leyo nto aside to ukwenza lento le akusize ngaleyo nto, and then so for me personally inginikeza Ngineza leyo nto I also wanna now ukwenze lo munye.
Njengoba naye kwenzile, it's highly probable that somebody did it to him.
Exactly.
Or something similar.
So maybe he's also paying it forward. So yeah.
So to be a person who actually finds favor, because I feel like favor is lingering around all around the world. It's a matter of you positioning it for it. As a person, I focus on certain things, then these things make me this person who's able to meet such people and actually get something of them.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't even think I have like that existential view on life.
No, me, I'm actually making you question your moves.
Yeah. No, as you speak here, I'm actually trying to think about it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's something I'm that conscious about. But if if someone does into anything like me, I'm aware of it. I don't forget.
Yeah.
And then I feel obligated, Niana, to also,
But before it comes to you, you might have been an inquisitive person.
Right.
But that's point number one.
Right.
Or is mhlambe lo muntu okwazi ukustrike conversation nabantu.
Yeah.
Mhlambe that's how you won your favor over him. As a person, you must have certain key elements that can help you get what you want in the world. Because sometimes it's not as systematic as we would think it is.
But is it easy to find that out though? Like sometimes you have it, but you're not sure what it is. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like what you're saying about inquisitive. Sometimes inquisitive, but who go aware with inquisitive, and maybe sometimes then go figure out because so. Sometimes you're just not aware. What am I in there? What am I doing right? What in there, and so good attract easy day. So I'm not too sure if I know the answer to that. Yeah, but is it as time
goes by? Yeah, I'm sure this is opening that pocket of questioning.
Well, now you've planted a seed, so it's something. It's something I want to think about.
Let's go on the topic of the book. How did you find yourself writing a book?
Okay, first let's go back to. But you have to remind me this point because then I also forget.
No, it's fine. Because now
But I want to give you more of like context. But you would have to remind me this point again.
Sure.
I want to speak about reading first. Because before you write, you need to, So I've always been a reader, but not cool. I mean, I just read Lana Lapaya, But then for me, it wasn't, because then there wasn't that culture schooling. I wasn't really, in terms of like peers, when I was surrounded by like, being almost like being unique, because then that's why I felt like high school was a prison. Being almost like unique, my interest and so on.
Yeah.
So I read, but then I wasn't really. So I got an opportunity to go to New York for a UN conference, Model UN. I was chairing a Model UN there.
Yes,
so
tell us about that. Okay, not to disturb you.
Yeah, so I was there and I had colleagues from obviously around the world. Hey, kukona this chap ne wasendi. Uhamba samba sonke yabo, so sithe UN shop ne siyabuka nje siyabo khona nezincwadi lapha yabo. So ngiseduze kwabo but angikho ezincwadini nje, I don't even remember what I was looking at. So lo mjida lo India nje wasendi. He was with this Brazilian guy. Yeah. Hey, I landi incwadi enganani for sure dictionary ngathi dictionary ne Bible ihlangene.
Incwadi eqeda appetite.
Incwadi basically ubhaza wencwadi. Yabona nje into nje. So wait don't ale ncwadi. Ngiyambona ngithi kodwa incwadi engaka lo wenzani hayi athi lo hey wayifunda le ncwadi ayibize ngegama athi lo ngayifunda le ncwadi 2 years ago, it's very insightful baqaba discuss le ncwadi engaka ithi mina yilabantu kodwa then I felt a bit inferior at that point. Uthi mina ngeke ze angindawo uthini topic inganga angeze ngifunde even nakancane kancane ngeke ngize ngithithe yabo. So at that time I felt like first thing I did airport, when I was in airport in South Africa, ngathenga incwadi kuzibala ngecwadi ngathi kuzibala ngecwadi ngathi yabo ngizofunda nami, you know, because kusho ukuthi la ngaphandle kuyafunda.
And the people you are with,
it's people I'm working with, yabo. Ngathi ngeke if ngifuna ukuba kwi level yabo ngempela, yabo, ayindangikho la by chance, yabo, then yeah ngifuna ngifunde nami, yabo. So yaqala lapho ke culture, you know. The first book, however, like nje and then I found in a short space of time was Malcolm X, the autobiography of Malcolm X, which is a brilliant book. I think every black person,
I'm sure that's the best way to start.
That's the best way to start,
it's like
right?
starting about Steve Biko.
Yeah. So, and it's a lengthy book. Yeah, it's a lengthy book. Every black person is supposed to read. In fact, just everybody is supposed to read. I think it's just gonna be more meaningful for black people. So it
fills your cup. Now your cup, you feel like it's and it needs an outlet, much.
Yeah, 100%. So when ngafunda leyo ncwadi, and then ngafunda ezinye incwadi, and then I just started being I read like I'm crazy. Value experience. Okay, never again that shall happen to me.
That was the start. But mind you, what keeps you going with this boring thing that people perceive? I usually call reading the boring stuff.
Yeah. I like the boring stuff because I call myself a boring person as well.
And you don't mind it.
I don't mind it. It's my life. You know,
what about it that makes it so nice that you keep on doing?
Here's the thing I realized about reading. For me, it's almost like watching a series. The way I'm so in this thing, it's almost like I'm a character, you know? So for me, and like I said, with the Malcolm X, that was a great way to start.
Yeah.
I push with every book that I read. It's almost like I feel like I'm inside, man. I feel like I'm watching a series. And plus, I'm full no my I'm interested in I'm interested. I wanna know more. Yeah, well then, if I'm interested, it's almost like watching a series for someone else. Yeah, well, so I engage in that. I read it. I find it fun. For me, it's an escape kind of. It's an escape. Yeah.
Now go I perceive as a distraction. I'm actually distracted from the world to let me.
Yeah, it is. It is a distraction.
You're actually being distracted.
Yeah, I'm not studying. I'm not studying.
Yeah, bro.
I'm doing I'm series. I'm naming series. It just happens. You know, exactly.
Bro.
So
I feel you. Let's go back to the
to the writing.
Splendid Isolation. Yo.
So how this came about, now going back to the writing part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So yeah, people always ask me, hey Chief, you know, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's difficult to explain because it's just the history. Yeah, well, and you, for example, now with the Ukraine, Russia,
and all of that,
Ukraine, Russia, BRICS, you can never really understand this without understanding the historical context. Yeah, well, and people try to run away from historical context. If history,
you need the foundation.
You need the foundation. So then I found maybe if I wrote this thing down before you come and ask me, read. And then we can speak from that point. I felt like this is going to give you foundation necessary to understand what's going on, man. So now, at least ngikhulumela phezu kwe foundation ekhona. No uthi manje ngiyoqala eqaleni ke manje hey kwasukela yabo. Ngiqala manje kwi Cold War, senginywa nayo ko World War 1 2.
And you can easily be defined as umuntu ohlanyayo.
Yeah.
Because manje ukhuluma ngezinto engekho thina siyibone lezi thina sibona iUkraine neRussia manje. Don't tell me about izinto endala.
Yeah. And vele it's easy ukubuya ngathi it's easy ukufeel ngathi uyahlanya vele because manje kodwa manje ngeke ngikwazi ukuchazela lento ngingaqalanga lapho yabo. Fanele otherwise context ebalekile. I mean even if ubuka imovie ngeke ubuke imovie ezovela iqale phakathi nendawo noma otherwise ending angeke uzwe understand you know angeke nje uqale imovie sekuse wangithi ubone like moshiti channel imovie masekusele 30 minutes ushare kanjalo. So manje abantu want me to explain the ending ebeyade ngekho akafuni ngiqale yabo. So that's the same with just politics and explaining. So I felt, no, let me just write a book that will lay foundation. So this is what this is. This is the foundation. I try to explain what's going on, but we scrape surface, to be honest.
Yeah.
The main thing is to give context. You know, is to put ama props stage. You know, yeah, kufanele kube khona
setting.
Kumele kube khona setting. So that's basically what we're trying to do. Yeah, so what the book is a question. Someone said to me, I must never be a lecturer because I ask very difficult questions. So on my exam, no, just even before this, okay, that's chief. You ask difficult questions. You know. And I know I ask difficult questions because I asked it because I don't know. So
and you want to know.
And I want to know. It's I'm not trying to trick you. I really honestly want to know. Yeah. So this is it's a lengthy question. Uthi umhlaba iwest ne-east ibhekene. Ne? Njokubhekana kwe-east ne-west i-Africa lo ma dynamics Africa ilaphi and iphi role i-Africa kufanele idlale you know in these global balance of powers you know, hence it's called the subheading is called weighing Africa's role in the global balance of powers. And in splendid isolation, Lil Gama comes from what splendid isolation means as a phrase, which geopolitics is, it's a policy whereby our aligning umuntu or any permanent allies. So, yeah. But not necessarily also. Sometimes sometimes.
Oh, it depends on
whatever.
Well, whatever you guys are dealing with at the time.
Yeah, I don't have permanent allies. So if just think about just every day.
Yeah.
You live with say just the three of you guys. Namhlanje uzohamba nawe uthi cha uqinisile ngihamba nawe. Kusasa uthi ngeke ndoda angizwa into eshoyo. So yabona so but then you are in isolation. Umuntu wena loyal to uwe. Abanye if be right ngaleso sikhathi
you can delete early.
Yeah.
You have that freedom.
So that is also a question, should Africa also, you know, be in splendid isolation? Should we just yeah, well, if the West is doing right by us and bakumente connect so then yeah, we will side with them. If it's the Russians tomorrow, then it's them. The only people we'll be loyal to is us. I mean, there's this, is it Nkuruma, I think, who said
Nkuruma.
Yes, who said yes. I think it was him who said we should look neither east nor west but unto ourselves. Which is what I'm basically asking. I'm asking is it true? Should we really look neither east nor west but unto ourselves?
Because now these people eventually they need to ask themselves, should I choose Africa or the West?
Right.
Because ngabi continuously yithi sibuzayo ngabo.
Yeah.
When do we get to a point whereby people ask themselves about us?
But the thing is balwela thina vele. So they all want influence.
So they are proposing fana nentombi thina. Na la majita 5 nama Lamborghini.
Yeah, ungayibanga leyo ndlela. Ufuna mophi? Kulezi insizwa lezi. La noma uzoba untomkhaya.
Tomkhaya.
Yeah, so ungayibanga leyo ndlela. I like geopolitics because you can always bring it down to the most basic.
What does geopolitics mean? Global politics?
Yeah.
Or
Geo for geography.
Me, I'm a commerce person, so I
No,
understand the global village.
Yeah, just think of the geopolitics as like from geography, the world. Yeah, or just
No,
yeah.
I've learned something.
It's foreign affairs, international politics. That's where the word comes from.
I heard you speak about AU.
Yeah.
So when you're with those guys, Benigui AU tour, where to? And
So you mean when no, I was. So what I did 2019, and I was a little bit young at the time.
bro, that's just 4 years ago.
Yeah, but if you think about it, I'm still young. Ain't it? So 4 years ago, I was.
Yeah, and the amount of effort or work that you're putting on.
Okay, that is 21 young.
Yeah.
To chair like an international conference.
Oh no. Yeah. Huh? Yeah, it is, bro.
Okay, then I was young.
Shit, you're young.
I was young. So 2019, and it was January. So I started doing work. I started doing work in 2018. 2019 was just
a handover, basically.
Yeah. The work started. So I was 20. So what we were doing.
Give us that perspective, Alap.
So Imode UN is. Imode UN is it's a simulation. UN. It's just a simulation.
It's called modern UN.
Model. Yeah.
Model. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a simulation. UN. Uthi UN isebenza kanje. This is how it works. This is how it should work, and so on. So, and funny enough, the story I was just telling the students like NMU history MORU just briefly. MORU UN, which is simulation UN, but then qala before UN. So what happened?
It's like a student chapter that gave birth to.
Yeah, something similar to that.
A mainstream thing.
Yeah, something similar to that. You had young people had an idea of what they wanted to see. So they said, hey, let us simulate this thing. It exists. But let us, if it were to exist, izosebenza kanjani. So bahlangana bayenza. Nangempela yenzeka because they had to now think about what happens emhlabeni after the Second World War. How are we going to maintain order emhlabeni? Kuze ngabe nomunye uHitler futhi ozovele yabo. So that's how Imore UN just came about. So UN hosts Imore UN all the time, couple of times a year. So I applied nami ukuthi okay uthi ngiyo participate naku sebengenza uhlalo
by additional member
bangikhetha bathi hayi cha angibo uhlalo. So I was up against this lady from Sri Lanka, young girl. Hayi bangikhetha ngabe uhlalo kanjalo nami ngingekho sure ukuthi ngenzani but ngatrainwa ngenziwani ke. So and then ngagcina nje kuyinto engiyenzayo because later that year ngangiseGhana doing something similar. Following year futhi again New York. That timing ngisengibizwa nge-expert at that time. Okuyimina. So at the time okuyimina otrain uhlalo ukuthi lento yenziwa kanjani yabo. So that was 2020 and then that's just something I've been doing. 2021 again. Did the same thing. 2021 was online, but it was supposed to be in Geneva, Switzerland, but online because of COVID. Yeah, but that's what I've been doing the last couple of years. I'm sure that's
a very dope experience. Fair too. There's a student currently gallivanting the streets of university and
not
aware of zonke lezi yabo.
Yeah.
Like fair too. What's the message to them and how much of effort does it require to access isn't age?
Hey, yazi nami I had like those questions. Even sengi almost like corner, almost there, like my foot there. I asked myself the same question because when we did Mori in Pretoria National, I was like, I want international. Yeah, well, you always want more on it. So I was saying I want international. This guy, this white guy, I see Kulu my land. I'd say no. Sometimes it's just as simple. It's as simple as asking. It's been asking, it's never been that simple. So now I'm thinking, so the white guy, obviously, when you ask it,
all the answers are inside. Can be inside the house or just the telephone away.
Yeah. So I'm not because they, it's a little bit easier for them in terms of certain things.
Yeah,
well, because of the history, obviously, that's not controversial. That's true. And that's not to say but compared to us, So now but then it was really that simple. Simple as asking. And I mean, when I wanted to do it, it's not like trust fund. What's no, but then and people were generous, and then we made it happen,
bro.
So and even the opportunity came by chance. A friend of mine, it's imoto UN yabo kuzwa CN applying CN khona uyayila nje campus I was there.
It was on campus even.
Yeah, phela saqala campus nangithi lento ibe step by step from campus to nationals, from nationals to international. I think it's very angivelanga nami. Yes. So yeah, but then Saya first day I was like, I can do this for the rest of my life.
Bro.
It was, I don't know. I was like, only rest of my life I can do.
Shit. So, like, you discuss real issues and what are the
and you write resolutions.
Yeah, like I'm a tangible outcomes are corner. So happy or what are the things that are done? Because nyababona nomzamo mbata.
Yeah.
She's busy with international things, but you're like, yeah,
Nomzamo, it's a little bit different what she does.
Yeah, because
it's almost like a campaigner. Yeah, because she's a celebrity, so
yeah.
And akekho yedwa baningi abantu Angelina Jolie bonke nje like balletha because they are celebrities to campaign for certain causes. Lana Tina, we were actually like debating like real issues. 20, if I can. Oh, so the last one we did was actually very interesting. We're talking about what was happening in West Africa with child labor and cocoa.
Yeah. You even wrote a piece about that.
Yeah, and then
cocoa.
Yeah, and there's ingane aziye esikoleni sebenza lapha for imali engekho. I know ukuthi ngezusho ukuthi yeah ukuthi nje ngempela yabo even it's even less than nalo hentu angazi ngempela ngayichaza uthini. It's just ukuthi uphefumule. So but yeah, we were debating there until we passed the resolution on that. Although I don't quite remember what the resolution 18 exactly, but it was quite a lengthy. It was about, I don't know, like a 32-page resolution that was written.
So much it gets approved and submitted to who?
It then gets value end. So it's not like sebenzisana and UN. You think of it as a tree with a lot of branches and a lot of leaves. Even if a leaf is like a corner in it, but it's still so it's not like very corner like when it's one begin no. Saketa yonke into is submitted through Wafuna. It's called Wafuna that branch there. So already very in the UN to say, okay, these are what young people Mhlabeni have said.
Have to say.
Yeah, and in 2021, the science of 2021 was it to a peace building council. I exist a peace building council, but by a phone to exist, so they had to have young people. Abazo tshengisa ukuthi le nto izorana kanjani when it does exist yabo. And I was there as well. Lapha ke ngangabizwa ngohlanga ngibizwa president. So nje wakuthiwa nje president.
Athini ama perks? What are the perks of giving such things?
I mean, for me, it would open a whole lot of doors. But also just like we said about traveling. I probably would never have written a book if I did not have that experience of that Indian guy and the Brazilian guy.
That bookshop.
Otherwise, then it probably would not have happened. Yeah, well, so for me, those are the perks. Yeah, well, so I mean, New York was at least La Paga. We got a little bit of, we got a little bit of, to make to make one smile. But that's not why we do it. I would have done it without that.
It's beyond. They are bound to eventually come through because you're doing this.
Yeah. Also, you have to realize, so if you could just keep at it, by the time you're 80, only God knows what's about that.
Yeah, bro. Fetu, this is an opportunity to sell your book. What can people expect from this, and how do they get it? And when Malin, even the price.
Yeah. So the book, I think it's a must. It's a must-have. The book is a must-have. South Africa is hosting a BRICS summit. In August. So if you can try and get a copy before then, just to read, find out what BRICS is about, why it's important, why we have to challenge the status quo, how long it might take, things that have to. So for you to sort of have that understanding, I think you have to. Not even I think, I know. You have to read the book. Yeah, well, the way we wrote it was that it's readable and you'll understand it. You don't need a PhD to read this book.
You wrote it for a layman.
I wrote it for a layman. Yes. Yeah, so that was the thinking around the book, to make it, just to simplify it, make it as readable as possible. So
and pricing and Korea.
Okay, so we have a website up, splendidisolation.co.za.
Yeah.
So splendidIsolation.co.za, you'll find the book with the price. Price is there. It's 200 rand.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just 200 bucks. 200 rand and just for
pizza, basically.
Yeah.
Just sacrifice the pizza for 1 weekend.
Yeah, just sacrifice the pizza 1 weekend, and then you have this book. And then you have something now contributes and you khulunywa xoxo nje abantu behlangene uyabona now khona now uzokwazi ukubeka ubeke now with discussion uyabona. So yeah, that's how you can get the book, 200 rand. And then with the Korea, so what we're using Pexi. That's just how we Korea. That's how we Korea. I'm trying very hard to find easier ways to get into land. If you're in Johannesburg, like around Bramfontein Park, Auckland, and Auckland Park, then we can arrange how I can get it to you.
The collection.
Yeah.
Bro, even the colors complement our podcast.
Yeah.
It also gives me NMMU vibes. Somebody paid to on the department must do something to get the book for all political students there.
Yeah.
Bro, like so much effort.
Imagine if it becomes like a recommended reading for
it should be. It's just a matter of those people believing in us. They actually trust them.
Exactly.
By actually plugging what we create.
Yeah. So I mean, we
to the mainstream.
We trying to push, because this is self-published. I don't have anybody who would say, hey, Njengo Prince Marshall, it's why now 12 million baba obhale nansi incwadi. Yabaye.
Ufando man, Marshall.
wanika zo umashaba wafanda incwadi waqeda futhi wakuthi unauthorized ungafika ukukhokha imali uthi akubhalwe incwadi masothi unauthorized hayi abangasididi isigisi siyasazi.
But even Naizolo, the guy is saying, no, I sponsored in terms of a loan. So as soon as
a loan,
as soon as the book
South Africa
starts to make money,
yiphi incwadi yenza 12 million
the
in
money
South
must
Africa.
come back.
But yiphi incwadi yenza 12 million in South Africa. That's Umashaba is a businessman.
Yeah,
That doesn't sound. It doesn't sound convincing. That's a bad investment. Incwadi is just written by academics. It's not even. If writing books is not the easiest way to.
And this person is not known, like Mina. About if incwadi mhlawumbe ibhalwe Malema.
Yeah.
Ibingaba khona a chance of it actually giving.
He'll never have made the 12 million. Not in South Africa. I mean, South Africa, we don't have, unfortunately, a reading culture. We don't have a reading culture. Louis Farrakhan says the best way to hide. Yeah. Well, he said it, he used a colorful word. I don't know if I'm allowed to use it.
No, bro.
Podcast.
This thing is kind of open because they are not even monetized. So
okay.
I don't know if they're going to bring us down. But yeah.
No, but I'm going to say it in a proper way, not the original way. But he was saying if you want to hide something from a black person, didn't put it in a book. Imagine they're saying we everything you want to know is in a book. Bro. It's somewhere in a book. It's not anything you want to know. It's somewhere. It's written down somewhere in a book. And the best way to hide something from black people is just put it in a book because they won't buy it, and if they do, they won't read it.
Shit. If they do, they won't read it. That must mess up your mind already, bro. Like. I totally feel you. I
was speaking to Umzo, one of the contributors, yeah. And he was saying, I was speaking about Ish. I'm a bit anxious about like the criticism.
Putting myself out.
And because it's almost like walking naked, because these are your thoughts. They criticize and take us good. I get 40 it dies so mean so uyangazi umuntu better. It's all like incwadi exactly so take umjito you are better ke la ngiyamuzwa ke yabo. So I was like abantu bazothini with this yabo. But then he was like he so that's what I was a little bit, I think it's natural. It's
it has to, because you're a human, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't allow it to stop me. I did it, but it's still there.
You have to feel it.
Yeah, and then anxious is if people are going to read it at all. So so you are criticized. I didn't.
When are you worried about something because they might not even read it?
Yeah, that's basically what he's saying. Like, bro. Chief, are they even gonna read it to criticize?
Yes. So, no, bro, Namzos Tolele Lami. Fair to tell us about these presidents. Why do we have white presidents on top and black presidents?
Xi Jinping is not white. It's a white man's world, unfortunately. We actually had this conversation with a friend. I tell Chief Manje, this is supposed to be weighing Africa's role. Manje Africa in the
we are the table, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah. So I mean, you have President Putin, who's in the middle of a little thing there in Ukraine, a situation in Ukraine.
It's happening.
Which
squabbles.
Yeah. And I was a little bit unsure whether to call it, what should I call it? Should I call it a war? Should I call it a conflict? Should I call it a situation? I think that's probably
hearing.
So we have Putin is the one force, obviously. So it was the one superpower. You can't take that away. Russia, that is. Russia's been since the days of Soviet Union. So they're there because they're superpower. China is a massive superpower, man. They're going to overtake US, even with the size of the economy. They said when? Like in 20 years, 30 years, they're going to be the largest.
2030 or 2040.
Did they say 2030? Around about that time, yeah. They're going to be the largest,
the
biggest economy in the world. US doesn't want that. In fact, they don't even hide it.
But these guys
are
already the biggest economy It's just that US still owns the publication or the media side of things.
Yeah.
Because it can't be with on Nike, my iPhone, they're all built this side, but Nina and Sati, you still have the biggest valuation.
Yeah, you have to, as a person, you must do what you are doing now. You must always question. It's almost like who's the richest man in the world? It's Elon Musk. Like, he's probably not even in the top 10.
True.
You're telling me Elon Musk is richer than the kings and the sheikhs in the desert in Middle East? No way. No way Elon Musk is richer than the king of Saudi Arabia. You see? So you have to always go beyond what you see. So China is a massive player, and then obviously US, we all know.
Bro, this guy is old.
Very old.
Tripping, price falling. He's
mdala uyawa. I mean, bethu kube umkhulu wakho wena ubuzo ukuthi akaqhubeka. It's
anti indodana yakhe yashona, then that's why he
but usesevile nje unyaka njalo i-term. So akayeke manje Biden umdala. Biden yabo nje mase kuthiwa nje uphambi kwami Biden umdala enjoy retirement yakho awucabange Obama funa bomtshelile
bro
uthi bro umdala angabe self Obama bese retirement umuntu kwama 50s 60 manje or something.
He should be the one who's pushing
yena yakhe retirement uzoyidla the next 30 years
uzoyidla kanjani cool.
And then but this guy babamqhuba uthayikhuba indoda qhuba no. So you have to listen to him speak. It's one of the most depressing things you'll do. They asked him a question, what's your mental focus? I'm sure you've seen the video. I mean, I tell you, it's focused. It's and he starts rambling and says, and it won't sound and this is the president. This is a question I'd ask an American. If you had a company, would you hire Biden as CEO?
Nah.
If you won't hire him as CEO, how do you elect him as president?
No, bro, it's because the guys who actually control Lezinto want a puppet in him. And anyone who's more active than him is gonna...
And they don't want someone they don't want someone like Trump. Little unpredictable.
But imagine now Trump is contesting again. What's your take? Is he...
I like Trump. I don't want to lie. I do. I like him. There are certain things, obviously, I don't like about him, but I do. If I was an American, I probably think, even with America's position in the world right now, I don't mind seeing America fall from where I am.
Yeah.
But I think Trump will probably, he'd pose a bigger threat to these countries that are trying to shift. So, Trump, do I think he's going to be president? Probably, yeah. I think so. I'm going to make this, and I'm making this on camera. So I'm going to be held accountable.
You can face the camera next year, 2024, before we do a second.
If Donald Trump wins the Republican primary, then I think he's going to be president. But do you know why? I was on the fence, but I think now he will. There's this guy called Cornel West. He now announced he's running for president. And he's going to run he's far left. So he's going to take a little bit of the Democratic vote. He said he's going to run for president. He's running for another party. So he's going to take a little bit of, he might take a little bit of those... No, not just Biden's, a little bit of Biden's supporters. But also Biden is facing competition within the Democratic Party. The last I heard, I think they had said in modern history, no U.S. president has received a second term when they had opposition within their party. Biden has opposition. So if history...
He's being sacked.
So there's
no one voice kind of...
It's not like structure. Obama, everyone was behind Obama for second term. So there was no division.
He was backed by Mtente.
Yeah, but so yeah. I don't see how
Biden's gonna.
I mean, it could surprise us, but I just don't see how.
Bro, I don't know how long is our time, man. But we need to make a shout out to these guys. So yeah, number one, it's this president, Gaddafi.
Yes.
Yeah.
President Gaddafi. We speak a lot about President Gaddafi here. It'll be around about, there's this chapter now. Just excuse me for a second. But we speak a lot about Gaddafi. He features a lot when we speak about NATO. So we have a chapter called NATO Global Menace, right? So we speak a lot about Gaddafi, Lapo, now we colonial approach, which is a chapter before that.
Yeah.
Basically, talks about like the relationship Africa has with the West. So we speak a lot about him. So Gaddafi is a big feature here.
Bro, I actually celebrated when Gaddafi was killed, bro. I felt like an ass, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck, this guy made me believe as a child, bro.
Yeah, because
I was fucking
media, ne?
grade 10, dog.
Yeah, I think
I came back from school, but I was like, hey, Gaddafi, man, I'm told his team.
Yeah. But then you're cool, ne?
Bro.
But that's cool. I think I also wasn't really a Gaddafi fan at the time. But to cool, and then I could say, okay, as the more by now independent minded, more informed. Same with politics. Here's the thing. Here's another random thought for a penny. I must get 2 pennies.
Are growing.
That's what I heard yesterday. I've been political party 100%. Then you are not independent minded. Because then panel is some dissenting view.
Bro, this guy.
So
Mbalula was like, hey, yo, bro, we don't use our consciousness here. We use party line.
So barely.
So independence is gone.
We should shame
out the window.
Yeah.
For every political party, and that's so scary.
I figure lapha you told. Angithi phela nizoyidebate into. Once kwathatha decision now ungahambelani nayo, you toe the line. Yabo. Uhambe nawe, we promote noma ungahambisani nayo. So that's the thing with political parties.
Yeah.
And then we have President Paul Kagame. We unfortunately don't deal with Paul Kagame a lot. But he's there.
But he's the shining star.
That's why he's
apparently.
here. That's why he's here. President Zuma, who also features quite a lot. I mean, he's the one who, not a lot, but he's the one who termed this the phrase colonial approach. So he features that, and with Gaddafi, because he was president at the time, and then El-Sisi, we have an entire chapter on Egypt. And then
I didn't know this guy. I'm ashamed.
El-Sisi from Egypt. Well, when you read the book, you'll have a better understanding. You'll understand Egyptian politics a whole lot, and Middle Eastern politics is it's complex. It's not easy to understand, but if you read this book, you'll understand it. And then obviously, Matamela.
Oh, silence. This guy's manipulative. Yes.
Yeah.
But let's wrap it. I'm sure you're gonna come back for a second round. Bro, this was so nice and refreshing.
And then I was here at the back. And ngiyahamba kusasa.
Bro, shit, life is great.
So
somewhere else, because now you're not planning to be here forever.
I know. You have to move around. I saw most of the people that you do interview, people local, obviously. So you must come to Johannesburg, meet some people.
No, let's take it to the world. We talk. Closing remarks. And then take off.
No, we'll support you.
Bro, thank you very much. Closing remarks, the word to the youth.
Hey, word to the youth.
Mike.
Hey, I don't have a lot to say. Why? Advice. Get me young people must. What's on
No, you're speaking to the future.
And my peers, ne? I think for me, for now, because I'm promoting the book, let's get the book. Even if you're not interested, it's better to know. Just know a little bit of everything. Now, I mean, that's one thing I learned with diplomacy when I was doing diplomacy. But a diplomat knows a little bit of everything. Yeah, well, you must take conversation and find it was just enough to ask questions and so on. So let's just broaden our horizon. Let's sacrifice that pizza, get the book, spoon there, and then let's engage on content. Let's get other books. Let's read. Let's have conversations.
Who's the president next year? South Africa.
President South Africa. South Africa is going to be in a coalition next year, so it depends what parties.
Salad, green salad for a layman.
yes. So I don't know.
No, bro. Like
I don't know who the president will be, but I don't think anyone. No one. I think no one is going to win the elections.
Oh,
like,
okay. No one is going to win it upright, like clean.
No one's gonna win. I can imagine this thing of saying clean and that's why the ANC says they won the local government when they actually lost. If you don't get 50%, you have
so
lost.
No one would get over 50%.
Yes, if you get below 50, you lost. The only way to win
is a coalition, and through a coalition, who is most likely to be president?
That's a very difficult question.
Bro, like, give it a shot, then you're gonna come back next year.
I mean, the safest answer is always Cyril, because that's the safest answer. Yeah, well, it's not necessarily what I want, but that's the safest answer. Yeah.
Hey, bro.
But they're gonna negotiate. Bazokhuluma. EFF doesn't want Cyril Vele. ETA doesn't have a problem with Cyril, but has a problem with the cabinet.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. I mean, I just want to be a fly when those discussions. I don't know how I can get in the room. If I can get in the room, I can manipulate my way.
No, bro, you're part of UN, so.
No, but I'm interested. I want to know.
Yeah, you can take that conversation there, and.
Yeah.
After the election, then you can.
But I'm not sure who's going to be president next year.
No, but Sexuiru to Matomela is most likely. There's another money coming through.
I mean, if you were betting, if you were in Betway, that would be my advice. It's the safest option.
Yeah. No, bro, I feel you. Asbonga, cool. It's a wrap. I'm sure it's the longest podcast you ever did and the most exciting. Siyabonga, baba.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Sure, baba.
Thank you.
Poo. It's a wrap.